Hello and welcome back to another episode of the American Patriots Channel. This is part one of a two-part series on when will Americans stand up and demand what is rightfully theirs. Haven't you noticed that it seems like there's some problems in our country? Something is wrong. Well, I'll have you know that there are people in other countries that are actually glad that they don't live here. And in fact, America is becoming a joke to the rest of the world. Things like disunity. We have heartbreaking disunity and unrest in our country. And look how the pandemic has been handled. It's been chaotic. There's been a lot of misinformation. And then our healthcare system. Every year it gets more and more expensive, and yet the quality of healthcare gets lower and lower. There was a recent review of 11 wealthy countries, and in this review they found that out of 11, our healthcare system was at the bottom. We were 11 out of 11. And then there's crime and gun violence. Oh my! Violent crime is exploding, and at the same time, gun violence is just over the top. We are really the laughingstock of the world. They think we're crazy to tolerate 40,000 gun deaths a year. That's right, 40,000. And our freedom of speech, freedom of expression are being eroded by cancel culture. Now, recently, too, we've had a disgraceful pullout in Afghanistan. Not only is it disgraceful to America the way we handled it, but even worse, we've now put Afghans at tremendous risk, especially women and girls. The Taliban will not let them go to school. They want to keep them ignorant, and oftentimes they will sell them for wives, essentially enslaving the women of the country. There's been a rise in illegal immigration. Surely a country as powerful as ours can control immigration, but I guess not. It's out of control. We are no longer the world's superpower. And you notice that what is the pattern? We vote for one party and then another. At one time we'll think, hey, the Republicans have the answer to our problems, and we'll vote for them, only to be disappointed. So then we'll vote for the Democrats and put them in office, only to be disappointed by them as well. We go back and forth forever, it seems like, trying to find out who has the answers to all these kinds of things. And then ultimately, you'll notice many people decide the best government is a government that doesn't do anything because it can't do any harm. Apparently, we think the government is doing more harm than good, and maybe rightly so. So they like to see a government where there's about 50% Republicans and 50% Democrats, and since they almost never get along, they don't get anything done, and that seems to be the best government that we could hope for. How sad is that? America is going in the wrong direction. We need to try to understand America is going the wrong way. We need to see it and get it. Now, take a look at these two fellows because they don't get it. They don't understand. They're going the wrong way.
Get that guy on the wrong side of the highway. He's going to kill somebody.
God!
Hey! Hey!
Hey, what's going on?
Some joker wants to race.
Don't race. That's ridiculous.
All right, come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Put your window down!
You want something?
He's probably drunk.
You're going the wrong way! What? You're going the wrong way!
He says we're going the wrong way.
Oh, he's drunk. How would he know where we're going?
Yeah, how would he know? Thank you. Thanks a lot. Terrific.
Thank you.
What a moron.
You're going in the wrong direction! You're going to kill somebody! You're going the wrong way!
What?
As funny as it is, that story unfortunately represents what's going on in America right now. We're going in the wrong direction. We're headed for trouble. Things will get worse and worse. And yet at the same time, we don't even know that it's happening. Or even if we have a sense that maybe something's going on, we're not sure what it is, and clearly we don't know what to do about it. So one party will say, we will build back better. Well, better is not good enough. And another party will say, we will make America great again. America can be even greater than it's ever been before, so great is not good enough either. And then once they say those things, they fall short. Build back better? No, doesn't happen. Make America great again? Nope, doesn't happen. America is better than that. We Americans are in the best country in the entire world. It's just that our system is broken. Our democracy is dysfunctional and fractionalized, and we need to fix it. Now, the founders of our country created just such a government. They worked to create documents like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence in order to create just such a super powerful and great free country. And yet along the way, we strayed off course. We messed it up. We now have a country that even though it has those documents, we found ways to cause it to not perform as well as it could. America is only doing a small fraction of what it could be doing. As Abraham Lincoln said, America is to be for the people, of the people, by the people, and for the people. And yet, what is the government doing for you? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Is it doing a lot of good, or is it doing equally as much harm as good? I'd say more like the latter. Now, if the government was really doing all that it could, if we had that kind of ideal, perfect government that our founders envisioned, then what would that look like? What would be some of the things that we would see happen? Well, first of all, in terms of health care, we would have health care that is available to every single person in our country. It would be of high quality, world class, and it would be affordable. It is not affordable to many in our country right now. And then when it comes to unemployment, we would see full employment. Our government would encourage small business to generate jobs, and so everyone who is looking for a job would be able to find a job, full employment. And then when it comes to compensation, our government can foster fair wages and benefits. Right now, the only ones getting big raises and great benefits are the executives. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Our government can make it such that all of us can get good, fair wages and benefits. And not only that, when it comes to paying our taxes then, have you noticed that the wealthy and the rich corporations pay little to no tax often? Well, you and I, that doesn't work for us. We have to pay our fair share. The government needs to ensure that those entities too, the rich, pay their fair share too, to levy taxes based on ability to pay, and they obviously have a lot more ability to pay than you and I. And then there's education. Now, our education is something where we spend a lot of money on it, but at the same time, the results are kind of middling. If you compare us with other countries in the world, our education is only kind of maybe average or a little bit above average. We need to have the best education in the world. And how do we do that? Well, our government can help us out by creating competition between schools. School of choice to allow parents and students to choose the school that they want to go to. And yeah, they're going to go to the best schools. And the schools that are not performing, they're going to go away. We need to allow schools to compete with one another for the students, to create an open market effect. And then the private schools a lot of times too are very high quality, but they're expensive. We need the government to provide vouchers to allow us to choose private schools and afford them equally as well as the public schools. Hire really top-notch teachers and pay them well. It all depends on the educators, and so we need the very best educators that there are. And right now, some of them are not so great, and not only that, but they're not paid well enough either. When it comes to law and order, oh yeah, as I mentioned, we've got some big problems there. We need more policing, not less. No, more policing. But we need to train those police officers better so that there are far fewer injuries, but either with officers or suspects, and certainly far fewer deaths, and better training can cause that. Our government needs to ensure that those police officers are well trained and are given specific guidelines on how to perform their duties. And then we would see a marked improvement if they did that. And then when it comes to gun violence, we just got to get out there and create some requirements to keep the guns out of the wrong hands. There's the Second Amendment, of course. We want law-abiding gun owners to have full access to firearms. That's fine. It's the bad guys, the ones that are misusing firearms. We need to have restrictions in order to keep those guns out of their hands. Immigration. What is the problem? We are the wealthiest country in the world, and yet we can't control our borders? You got to be kidding. There's been a huge increase in illegal immigration. We really want to accept and bring in immigrants into our country. After all, most all of us are immigrants, at least our ancestors were. But at the same time, we don't want them to come in illegally. Why can't we regulate immigration? Well, our government can do it, but it's falling short. And then there's poverty. How sad. Our welfare system is actually causing people to stay in poverty. It's keeping them there, keeping them down. It's not providing the appropriate incentives to get jobs, to further their education, to get married, and to move out of poverty and to better themselves. Just another example of where our government is falling well short and really doing more harm than good. All right, so those are just some of the examples of what our government should be doing. There are many others, and so you can see there really is something wrong. Our government is not doing its job. It's not for the people. So how do we fix this problem then? What do we do to stand up and demand our rights? Demand the things that the government should be doing for us. Well, there's 3 things that we need to do. And in our next episode, part 2, I'm going to reveal what those 3 things are. If we do those, that will open the door for our government to be a shining star to the rest of the world. It will allow our government to move forward and do all the things that I mentioned there. So I look forward to revealing those things to you next time, right here on the American Patriots channel. God bless, and I'll see you then.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?